Afternoon, everybody. I trust that we are all in good spirits on a good day in Bermuda. Just want to firstly acknowledge Mr. Norbert Simons from the Department of Youth, Sport and Recreation. I certainly want to acknowledge some of our former FIFA referees here today, Mr. Simons, Mr. Rayner, Mr. Machette, and certainly Mr. Marshall, to my right. I'm going to be brief, but for me, I really want to just touch on the fact that I always say that the players are the stars of the show, but the stars of the show also have another three actors at times, and right below the players, for me, are the match officials. They should, most of them, have to operate at the same level of fitness. They have to commit the same amount of hours to perfecting their craft. And I can attest to Tashun and certainly his partner, Antoine Augustus, have certainly put in that kind of time. And today, I was happy before, but now we're at the point of really putting a period on the journey to get there, and putting a capital ladder on the journey to stay there. So without further ado, really, I want to thank you all for coming. I want to certainly express my joy at coming to this point where we have a person on the FIFA list, and we're looking for more. So at this point, let me bring up the chairman of the referees committee, Mr. Cranston Williams.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us here on this very, very esteemed occasion. I'd like to call Mr. Norbert Simons to the podium to give some brief remarks as the Director of Youth and Sports. You are the government representative in the building, Mr. Simons, so please come forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the minister, and I have to give his apologies because he's traveling overseas today, but I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the BFA on the programs that they're doing to ensure that young people are given the chance to not only play the game of football, but to be administrators in the sport and to officiate in the sport. So at this time, I'd like to add to the remarks that were made by the president and congratulate the individual that they're about to announce today for such a fine job, and continue to on the road to success. And hopefully we'll see him in the World Cup, if not in 2020, but in 2024. 2022.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simons. I would now like to call our longest-serving FIFA official, Mr. Charlie Marshall, to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure to be here today. It's more of a pleasure to see such a young man. And I thought, he's a little darker than me, but I said, that could have been me a few years back. Anyhow, I was never that young. I used to play football, and after a while, you get your knocks and bangs. You're never as good as you're not a superstar. But there are other things young men and women can do besides playing football and be stars. And without the star of the referee, not that anybody should know who they are when the game's finished, because that's not what they're there for, is officiating. Because without them, the game wouldn't be played. It's as simple as that. And I know, young man, to achieve FIFA, you had to do a lot of hard work. And I would encourage you to continue to do that hard work. If you want to achieve to be the top, to be the best, you have to sacrifice at this age in life, and it will pay on later on. And what do I mean by that? I'm almost 80 years old, and I stand up on my own 2 feet, and I'm able to take care of myself, and a lot of that I contribute to being a very active referee. Train in the morning, go to work. Last thing you would do at night before you go to bed is read the book of rules. And you will find that every time you read it, something else will pop up in your head and it will say, gee, I never knew that. That's what that means. And it's amazing how much more you will be educated, not only about the game itself, but how that game portrays to life and your ability to achieve what you want to do in life. It will help you. It will show you. It will help you how to deal with situations that you thought you'd never be able to deal with, hostility, crowds, emotions, and it'll help you how to deal with human beings, which is the most important thing. So my advice to you is to train hard, because if you don't train hard, when you're tired, there's no oxygen going to the brain. When no oxygen's going to the brain, there's wrong interpretations. Then you have the crowd to deal with. And sometimes they can be a bit of a nuisance. Sometimes you can get discouraged. When you get discouraged, you call these gentlemen out here who are ex-FIFA referees or referees. They will help you. And never think you know everything. Always take good advice. And you will be rewarded for it later on with good health, respect from your community, and you will achieve the heights that you want. And those heights is what you have in your hands and your ability to do. I just wish there'll be more of you, that you will set a good example for the younger generations coming along. And that's what you are now. You're a role model and you're a leader. Live up to that, but never, never forget to ask for advice. We're here to help you, and we're here to make you to be successful. You have a lot of shoes to fill. We have a lot of people in the past. Some are still with us, some are not. But us that are here to help the next generation on. And I think everybody in this room is here to help you as well to succeed. But you got to work hard. Nothing's free in life. And don't let me discourage about all the remarks and all of the things and all of the threats and all of that. It's all part of building your character to what you will eventually be. Congratulations. Congratulations to the Football Association to have raised such a nice young fellow. And I hope we get some ladies shortly. And I know the game's changed a bit. You have to have some colleagues, I believe, to really get appointed internationally. I was very fortunate. I got some 26 or 27 countries around the world, all the way as far as Israel that I refereed. So it really pays off. You learn a lot. Friends, I had cards from Christmas from Abraham Klein. Some of you may remember Abraham. I got an email from him 2 days ago wishing a Merry Christmas and all the rest. Perhaps we'll bring him over and to run some courses. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very much. And season's greetings to each and every one of you. Health, happiness, and prosperity to you all. Let's play football. Where's the whistle?
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. I would now like to call Mr. Lionel Can, President of the Bermuda Referees Association, to give a few remarks.
Good afternoon. I don't know how I'm going to speak after Mr. Marshall's speech right there. I think he said it all. I stand here today as the president of the BRA Association. We salute Tashun. Tashun, you have become the new poster boy of refereeing. You have set the standard. The bar is very high. It's very exciting times to stand here and be that part. We salute you today. I am here to say congratulations on part of the executive and members of the BRA, and we look forward to great things. And I know that you will make us proud. Good luck, son.
Thank you, Mr. Can. Now, excuse me as I'm going to have to read from my phone. I'm going to give you a little walk, a history walk for Mr. Tashun Dwayne Dilton Simons. Yes, I'm calling his entire government name, as they say. Tashun's journey started with a conversation one evening at number 1 Oriole Lane. Tashun claims to be this top-notch striker for Social Club, and as a gentleman in this room can attest to this, a certain Mr. Troy Lewis. We were at Somerset Cricket Club, and Tashun was playing defense for some reason. He had on gloves, and he had on all white. As anybody knows Tashun, he doesn't like to get dirty. So Tashun was there, and a shot came in, deflected off Tashun into the goal. I said, man, you're wasting your time. You're not a footballer. Come off. It was going to the goal anyway. So that night, said to Tashun, since you're clearly not a top-notch striker, would you be interested in refereeing? I'll think about it. So that Saturday, Mr. Lyndon Rayner and Mr. Gregory Grimes, he's no longer with us, took Mr. Simons and Mr. Seth Taylor. They put a course on for them. I got an email to say, hey, there's 2 youngsters, little whippersnappers as they call them, they know the laws, so maybe this could work. So it continued, and then the first game he was assigned to was Devonshire Coates versus Boulevard. They were both in the first division at that time. And that was a top of the table game. It also happened to be my first match commission assignment. So we get to the game, and there's a certain infamous coach from Devonshire Coates we all know. Very loud, obnoxious when he wants to be, but loves the game. The first call Mr. Simons made was clearly the wrong call. Throw in a Spursby for Coates, he put up for Boulevard. So of course, a lot of nice words were thrown at Tashun. So I told the coaches, you need to sit down and let him, he's young, he's learning. However, as the game would have it, a particular call had to be made, was for handball against Boulevard, which meant it was a penalty. So what happened? Devonshire Coates won the game 2-1, and sure they got promoted. Who became the new poster boy for Devonshire Coates? Tashun, Dwayne, Dilton, Simons. So, fast forward. After that, Tashun, he also did the PDL Festive Finals, 2014-15. He did a Masters Cup Finals in 2014-15. That also led him to take up detour. There was a knockout game at Devonshire Rec. There's another infamous coach who's, as you would say, I guess most referees, they know they call it Masters League, the Lawless League. So you're allowed to just show up, do as you like, but for knockout, you have to have a card. And the game was supposed to start at, I think it was 2:30 or 3 o'clock. So Mr. Simons, being new and following the rules, went in the change room and said, hey, where are your cards? I need these cards, otherwise the game's not gonna happen. So this particular coach said, oh, little boy, you know who I am? Who are you talking to? I don't care who you are. If I don't get those cards, this game will not happen. So the coach came upstairs to me and said, hey, is that your? Yes, he is. He's going to go a long way. He's the first referee to put me in my place. That was Mr. Herbie Bascom. The cousins. Oh. Then he did the knockout finals, and then later on that year, email came forward to select 2 persons to go to the CONCACAF Under-15 Championships for the girls. Tashun and Antoine Augustus were selected. The highlight of that was they were put on the game USA versus Mexico, which was the highlight, the most prestigious game at the tournament, and they were the ARs. However, because they were both young and they had some learning to do, they were sent to him early. We received emails tell us that categorically, if they were going to make it, they had to do all the finals, all the top-level games, and this is what had to happen. The referee committee chairman demanded of his team, Mr. Anthony Francis, Lyndon Rayner, and Mr. Grimes, this has to happen. So he ended up doing the Charity Cup 2016-17 WWE Finals. Once again, contentious calls at Devonshire Rec, where we were given some very, very choice words. Friendship Trophy Final down at Wellington. Once again, Mr. Simons made a call that the entire, I'm sure PHC, anybody who was black and white, were ruined about. But when Birmingham showed the video, who was correct? Tashun, Dwayne, Dilton, Simons. It stands to say that Mr. Simons showed true integrity and character. Mr. Simons eats, sleeps, drinks refereeing and football. Went on a family trip to New Jersey. Mr. Simons decided to look up this referee store. Caught the train to this store. Nobody knows what we're going, 4 of us. Walking. Get to the store is probably not as big as this building. Tashun goes in there and he gets everything. Speaks to the gentleman, and unbeknownst to me at the time, the BFA had just ordered some electronic boards. So, small world, we come back, he gave Tashun abundance of things to bring back to Bermuda. Tashun came home, he said, I am going to be on the FIFA list. I said, I wish you luck. He continued and persevered, then they selected him again to go to the boys under-15 championships in Brotherton. When he was there, Mr. Simons, he officiated in the Division I semifinals, USA versus Panama. Then he did the Division II finals, which was Haiti versus El Salvador. Then he received his report, which stated that Mr. Simons will be selected to the FIFA list. However, there was one little hiccup. Anybody who knows Tashun is very lazy, doesn't like to run. I repeat, he is very lazy, does not like to run. Prior to him going, we had a fitness test on a Saturday morning up at this field. Mr. Francis conducted the test. Tashun came in, I knew already, hanging out late at night. Tashun wasn't in the frame of mind to the test. Just gonna keep it real. Got out there, did maybe 3 laps. That's it, I'm done. Mr. Troy Lewis, who I have to give big props to, said, we're coming back tomorrow morning. Next day, Mr. Simons came. It was like night and day. Mr. Simons ran, and he wanted to give up. There was a village around him, making sure, pouring water over his head, throwing shoes at him, screaming all kinds of obscenities at him. You're not stopping. This is what you have to do. He was crying. He was wheezing. We don't care. You're going to finish. And he did. To his testament, yes, he did. Then he went to the tournament and he returned. So upon his return, the chairman asked him again, sir, you have to get on this FIFA list. When did you do your test? September the 16th. Are you sure? Yes, September the 16th. Okay. September the 16th comes. We're at the stadium. Mr. Rayner was there, myself, Gideon, who's not here, and Tashun was there. He started. Also, Amari, Majors, and Antoine. When they got to 5 laps, I said, Tashun's looking strong. Like, what's going on? Kept going, he kept going. Then Amari, who's 17, took over, went to the front. Once Amari took over, I said, okay, Tashun's going to pass. Because Tashun being how he is, his competitive spirit, there's no way he's going to allow a 17-year-old to beat him. Needless to say, Tashun passed with flying colors. Garrick Swinson, who came throughout the test, made sure that he kept going. He did not stop. So Tashun completed. Just to let you know what that entailed, he had to do 5 30-meter sprints in less than 4.7 seconds. He had to do 40 75-meter sprints and 40 25-meter sprints in 15 seconds for the sprints and 17 seconds for the walk. So it's not something that's an easy walk in the park. Something that he has to train to do, and as we know, that has been his obstacle, the fitness test. However, as you all heard today, you are invited for a reason. It takes a village, and we need this village to continue to support Tashun. He made the list, and as I was told, it's easy to get on the list, but it's hard to stay on there. And we need to make sure that he stays. So I encourage each of you, and I'm asking, begging, pleading with all of you to ensure you give him the support he needs. He is 23 years old. He's only been officiating for 2.5 years, and he has made history, in my opinion, because we have not had someone on the list for 12 years. That's a very, very long time. I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Musterden. I can now hold my head up high, sir, in any Congress meeting, and I don't have to worry about you saying, Mr. Chairman, when we get on a personal FIFA list. I would also like to acknowledge Mr. Gideon, what we call him, Mr. Gideon. I wouldn't bother trying to pronounce his last name, because Gideon was very, very supportive of anything we did or attempt to do. Mr. David Sabir, you went the extra mile to ensure that Tashun Antoine got selected, so thank you very much. Troy Lewis, Mark Wade, Sharice, Shannon, Anthony, who else I'd make sure I don't miss out anyone, Mr. Wire. I'd like to thank all of you because you have been very, very integral in this whole process. There's one person I cannot leave out because I know if I do, I might sleep outside tonight. That would be Tashun's mother. Thank you very much for your patience. It has been a very long 2.5 years. The arguing, the fussing, the not cleaning the room, coming home, the dirty clothes, the footballs everywhere, the stinky shoes. It goes on and on and on. Thank you very much for your support. I have to tell you that. Thank you very much. Last but not least, Mr. Grimes, you're not with us, but your vision, your dream has been accomplished, sir. It was the hardest thing for me to receive that email on that Monday, and I could not call him to say, Mr. Grimes, congratulations. It was a very, very difficult task, because the last thing Mr. Grimes said to me, get somebody on that FIFA list. With no further ado, I would like to call on my wife to come forward. You have a presentation to do. Yes, I'm calling you Mrs. Marita Williams. Can you please come forward? Tashun, can you come forward as well? Here you go. I'd like to put fingers on your silence when you leave your child. Mr. Wade, can you please come forward? Mr. Wade, can you please come forward? Okay. Mr. Wade, can you please come forward? And this is that's his pen his mother's gonna put on him. It says FIFA. This is ID card. And it says Tashun. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. My apologies. I've been told I have to move the podium. Mr. Burgess, can you help me remove the podium, please? Thank you, sir. Come forward, Mom. Here is his FIFA official ID, and it does say Tashun Dwayne Dalton Simons from Bermuda.
Well done.
Also, Mr. Simons, here is your letter from FIFA congratulating you for the best side. Well done.
Yes, thank
I do apologize. It says, "Dear Sir, Madam, we are pleased to enclose the following material to be distributed to each FIFA official according to their role. 4 chest badges, 2018 FIFA assistant referee. 3 sleeve badges, fair play. An ID card which must be signed by the holder to be valid. 1 integrity brochure. 1 assistant referee pin, a set of yellow and red cards, and 1 toss coin. The new badges must be worn at every national international match from January 1, 2018. The current badges will cease to be valid after the 31st of December 2017. Please note that all referees are required to sign their ID cards signifying strict compliance with all FIFA regulations, including the laws of the game, the FIFA Code of Ethics, and the FIFA Code of Conduct. The back of the ID card contains a short statement of integrity, along with the email address to report any suspicious or illegal activities. The accompanying FIFA integrity brochure contains more detailed information on how to recognize and report match manipulation. Thank you in advance for your valuable cooperation. Yours faithfully, Savannah Maria Bobin, Deputy General Secretary. Also, just to let you know, Tashun's first involvement in FIFA will be February 8th to the 11th, where he has to travel for his first engagement as a new FIFA assistant referee. Then he'll be going to the Dallas Cup, March 23rd to April the 2nd.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't know what to say, man. First off, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who helped me. Lyndon, Francis, Martin, my mama. Even when she told me I can't leave the host to referee, she still let me go after some choice words. Also, my partner in crime, Antoine, he pushed me physically. He told me I had to keep going no matter what. You know, he's the marathon runner. I'm not the marathon runner, so the laps were kind of hard for me. Also, is one person who really helped me, and it's Kalisha. She came here this year for a month with me and Antoine. And I didn't think I was going to make it this year. I didn't. But she put us through our paces for a whole month. She stayed here. She took time off of whatever she was got to do. And she stayed with us and made sure that we were ready for the tournament, one, and for 2018. When I went to the tournament this year, I saw Brian Ho again. And before one of my matches, he said to me, "Tashun, you're good enough. But there's one thing that I'm going to tell you, is that when you get on my list, it's easy to come off. If you fail one fitness test, you will be removed." And I went to the room that night and I thought about it with Antoine, and I said, "Garcia, I can't fail this test. No matter what, I cannot fail this test in September." And Garcia was like, "Look, man, we're gonna run the test, and if we finish, we finish. We don't stop until we're puking." So, unfortunately, Antoine got sent to him before me. and I know he was very upset about it. And he got mad at me, and I was like, Gossie, I don't know what to say, man. I thought he was doing a good job. So he was upset, and I said, when he left, I spoken to my co-pa, and I said, Goss is my partner, I can't leave him behind. And he said, Tashun, you're not just doing this for yourself. You're doing this for everyone in Bermuda, everyone who didn't make it, and everyone who has been. So then the next day I had a game, and I still wasn't up to it, but I went out there and did what I had to do. At the end of the tournament, shook all my brethren's hands that were there, and he said, we see you in 2018. So then we returned in September, and September 16th, 2 days before I was supposed to go to England, I showed up at National Stadium. I had my headphones in, and I was replaying my song that I played before every match. Jacques song, Nothing's Impossible. Played it over and over and over, the whole ride turn, up until when we were setting up the test. Then finally I took it off. The first 5 laps, I was like, oh, it's okay. I can make it. Got to lap 7. And I said, I don't know about this one, but I'm about to give up. And then, as my grandpa said, Amari passed me. I said, it is no way. There's no way this young man is going to finish this test and I'm not. So 2 laps went by. On the 9th lap, I was there for Amari. I turned around to my grandpa. I said, videotape this. And he said, what? I said, videotape it. I'm serious. With a couple of choice words. And we ran the last lap. And Garrick said to us, where you going? You ain't going nowhere. Keep going. 1 more lap. We end up doing 11 laps. After doing the sprint and the coda test. And immediately after I finished, I broke down crying like I am now. Because I knew that after that report from the tournament, I had a great chance of making it. On November 20th, 2017, I was homesick. And my grandpa called me. He said, Tashun, I have some news for you. I said, what happened? He is like, I just got an email. So the email from who? Like, I said, damn. He was like, it's FIFA. So I was like, oh God, I hope they say yes. So then he said, Tashun, you've been accepted to the list. And I said, for real? He's like, yeah, I'm serious. So then after I hung up with him, I just started crying because this is something I wanted since I started. I didn't think I was going to make it, and now that I have, it feels so much better. I know that now in 2018, being a FIFA assistant referee, it's a lot of pressure. You know, everybody looks up to you who's a referee, who's coming along, but I have to hold my standard where it's been all this time. I know, Mr. Wade, every time I saw you, I always said what I said to you. You know what that is. I stand here before you, sir, receiving this badge. Thank you for all your support and all that you've done. Mr. Saber, we know the trouble that you had in 2016 to get us to that tournament. Thank you for what you've done. All right. Troy. Thank you. I remember that game where I was on the bench for once out of the whole time I was at Social Club. That's the only time. And I was kind of upset over a call that a referee made. And he said, Tashun, sit down or else go be a referee. And I said, Troy, I ain't a referee, man. I'm a footballer. Yeah. And he is like, yeah, Tashun, just be quiet. So then the conversation I had with my grandpa, it was good. and now that I'm a FIFA assistant referee, every time I put this badge on, I'm gonna show everybody why I'm an assistant referee for FIFA. I knew what it took. The nights, sir, long nights with Lyndon. Man, thanks, Lyndon. You pushed me to the end, man, and I appreciate that. Serious. Everybody else, thank you for showing up, and hopefully in 2018, I can show you why this badge belongs to me.
Audio Jungle.